Well, good afternoon, everyone. Well, it seems like that we've got even a bigger update than we had last night. Hey, Crosscut. Just want to let you know that I wish I had time to write a script about what happened last night.
What happened?
Well, for one thing, I want you to be the Uber driver. You mean I can drive now? No, you ain't gonna drive my car. I don't think so.
Oh, come on, let me just have a key.
No, I don't know about that. But anyway, you're no fun. Yesterday, Eddie fell again. And
He fell again?
yeah, he sure did. Oh, man, it's cold. People up north, 11 degrees and below, you know what we're fixing to get into is they don't even think about twice about it. I mean, down here, everybody's scattering for everything they could find. Anyway, I was fortunate enough, my neighbor over here, I told him to remind me to disconnect my hoses, and luckily for me, he told me last night, hey, go out and disconnect your hoses. And gosh, because I had disconnected all of them, but I had to hook one of them up to fill up my plant watering box. What do you call that?
Container.
Oh yeah, container. To water the plants. I had to get fill it up and bring it in. Anyway, I don't even know why I brought that up. Anyway, after Eddie fell, we had kind of a strange day. It was, he was in pain all day because of the from the amount of pain he was telling me, I thought for sure he had broke a hip.
Oh, what's a hip?
Well, that's the part that you don't have.
What do you mean I don't have?
Well, let me ask you, can you walk to the door and back?
Well, with your help I can.
That's what I thought. Anyway, his complaints went all day long. I mean, it was a struggle for me to try to catch up on my sleep because it was a hard day yesterday. Well, finally talked to the nurse because the nurse told me, after I explained to her what happened.
What happened?
Well, I told you that he fell. Oh. Well, anyway, he, like I say, was complaining about the pain. All right, well, so I talked to the nurse, and,
Is she pretty?
well, yeah, you could probably, I bet she'll bring you some dog biscuits.
I like the big ones.
Well, anyway, shut up. She told me, she said, after I explained to her what was going on, she told me to call 911. So the ambulance came over there, and we got him out to the stretcher, got him loaded up. They checked him out, and so they took off and went to the hospital. Well, along about, I don't know, I think it was around 6 o'clock. They called and said to come pick Eddie up. Well,
You don't drive at night.
yeah, I know. That's what I told that lady. So she said, well, we're going to work on trying to find you try to find someone to bring him home to you. So here it's 10 o'clock. No word from nobody. I called over there several times. No answer. I mean, I'm talking about letting the phone ring for almost 2 minutes. I know those poor nurses are so busy they didn't want to talk to me.
Well, I don't like talking to you either.
So, anyway, Marie's in the, I think she was in the back room, I don't know, sorting clothes or something. And so I decided, you know what? I'm going to take Uber. I want you to be the Uber driver.
What's an Uber driver?
I'll explain later. So I don't even tell Marie where I'm going. I just, on the phone. Well, of course, it wasn't Uber. Let me take this back. It's Lyft. Because I don't know what happened to my Uber app. So I did all the stuff we're supposed to do to get the Lyft driver over there. Well, it said on my phone, he'll be there in 2 minutes. And I thought, golly, I don't even have time to put a jacket on. So, anyway, so I just thought, well, this won't take long, and I ain't gonna worry about telling Marie. So, he shows up, I get in the car, we take off, we're running down the road. Hey, Uber driver, I need to ask to see if you could wait for me to pick my brother up.
No comprende, amigo.
And I thought, oh no, I got a driver that can't speak English of all the nights. So, I thought, well, heck, let me call Marie. So, I call Marie, get her on the phone. I says, I need you to ask this Lyft driver if he can wait for me at the hospital while I go in there and pick up Eddie. And, well, I mean, where are you? You could have heard that 2 blocks over the way she had it, because I had to pull the phone away from my ears. What are you doing? I says, I'm going to the hospital to pick up Eddie. Well, I didn't even know you left. I says, well, it's a long story. You can complain and yell at me when I get home, but I need you to tell this Uber driver, Lyft driver, I'm going to get it right one of these times, if he can stop and wait for me at the hospital. Well, she didn't call me, and I'm the Lyft driver. Well, anyway, so I said, tell the Lyft driver I needed to stop and wait for me, see if he wouldn't mind waiting for me. Anyway, she gets the phone, and I hold it up to the Uber driver's ear while he's driving, and so anyway, I got the phone back. And she said, how come you didn't tell me you left? How come you did this? I said, just hang on. What did the guy say? Well, he said he cannot wait for you because there is no round trip ticket. Which means as soon as I get to the hospital, I get Eddie, I gotta re-enter all that information again to get a ride back home. All right, I'm going to put you down for a few minutes. My arm's getting tired.
All right.
So, I get to the hospital. Oh, golly. Here it is, 10:30 at night. I go to these doors, the main entrance to Presbyterian Hospital, and they're all locked. And I thought, oh, golly, what do you do? I've never been over there at night. So, here I am walking with no ride. And from the front of the hospital all the way around to the back of the hospital, you have to go to the emergency room. It's the only way you can get in. So that was probably, I'm going to say, about a 5-minute walk. Luckily, it wasn't cold. So I go in there and I gave them Eddie's name, and she says, okay, talk to this lady over here. So I went and talked to her, and she said, okay, yeah, I'll take you to his room. So we get over there and get up to Eddie's room, and I go in there and say, hey Eddie, I'm here to pick you up. And of course Eddie said, well, what in the hell am I doing here? And I said, we'll talk to you about that later. So anyway, I went around trying to find the nurse. I wish I could mention her name. Really sweet gal. Well, they're all real sweet gals. I mean, for what they have to put up with in the hospital, in the emergency room, God, it takes a special person to do that. Anyway, so I finally found her, and I says, well, I'm here to pick up my brother. And she said to me, well, I thought you didn't drive at night. I says, I did, and I had to Uber over here. And she says, well, let me get all the information. And I said, it'd be better if you could get no, I asked her, I says, I never heard back from anybody about when they were going to bring Eddie home, and I couldn't contact anybody. So I thought, well, I'll just come over here and find out what's going on. Well, evidently, she had got the information, and this is what she kind of told me in a roundabout way. You know, she says, I need to follow up on that. Okay, well, that usually means that she got all the information in her hand. She put it on her desk. Probably a phone call came in. Well, Eddie kind of got swept over to the side because she says, well, you know, like I say, well, let me check on that. Well, 5 minutes later, she comes back and says, there's an ambulance driver that's going to take your brother home. I thought, okay, great. So I decided to hang around and wait for the ambulance driver. He showed up. Hang on a minute.